the international dailies. Florence Villeminot is back on set. Hi, Florence. And the end of the U.S. shutdown is the leading topic. No surprise
It's the
there.
big topic of the day again. Let's start by looking at some of the front pages. First of all, the Wall Street Journal, happy to say that the U.S. government is back in business. The government managed to save face at the last minute, but other papers are, well, slightly less enthusiastic about this deal. Let's look at the front page of China Daily. This U.S. debt deal is a temporary fix, according to China Daily, but it fails to address the root cause of this U.S. Fiscal trouble. Now, the editorial in China Daily today is very critical of the United States, says that this is an unthankful U.S. deal. The U.S. has the urgent task of restoring its reputation across the world, and it has this threat in the editorial today that says that countries that hold U.S. debt may have to make preparations for an unthinkable solution. It doesn't say just what that unthinkable solution is, but it's very menacing in its editorial today.
And the editorial rightly points out, as I can see, that the threat of default and of shutdown has just been postponed by 2 months because they've got to pick up negotiations again. Now, some papers are trying to see the lighter side of things.
That's right. Now, if we take a look at the Daily Beast, for instance, they're trying to figure out why the House stenographer, Diane Reedy, snapped. Now, you might have seen these images while this vote was taking place. A woman was dragged out of the House of Representatives. She was yelling crazy things about God, etc. The Daily Beast interviews her husband, who says that, well, she says that she was urged by the Holy Spirit to deliver a message about God, about on the House floor, etc. This was so out of character, according to her husband. But a lot of papers are also focusing on the Republican Party. The Republican Party has been seen as being the big loser of this shutdown. We can take a look at a cartoon in the International New York Times today, where you can see there a Republican, well, the elephant, which represents the Republican Party, having taken a big beating. The Band-Aids there say self-inflicted wounds, and there you see Obama walking in with his Obamacare, so the Affordable Care Act, saying, well, are you ready for me yet? So this cartoon seems to suggest that, well, maybe the Republican Party is going to need Obamacare. The Independent, in its editorial today, says that though Republicans lost a battle, the war continues. There will be no surrender in the long term, according to the Independent. Far from relenting, the Republican Party intends to continue damaging America, says the Independent. And why is that? Well, it's because the ultra-conservative minority that has been holding America to ransom, well, it shows little sign of changing its ways.
All right, let's move on to another story. This one is pretty gruesome. It's coming out of Chile. 4 men have been found guilty of beating a gay man to death and carving Nazi swastikas in his body.
That's right. This was 24-year-old Daniel Zamudio, and he was attacked for several hours in the night of March 2nd in a park in Santiago, left for dead. He eventually died in a hospital. It's getting a lot of attention in the Spanish-speaking press. This is an article in El País that comes back on it because this story really shook Chile and led to a debate on hate crime. And in March, the Congress in Chile approved an anti-discrimination law that had been held up in Congress for 7 years. The president ended up putting this on a fast track after the murder. So gay rights activists say that they're quite happy with the ruling this week and said that, you know, there was really a before and after Zamudio in Chile.
And in Kenya, authorities have come up with a new technique to deter rhinoceros poaching.
That's right. It's a very modern technique. It's microchips. The Kenya Wildlife Service is going to implant microchips into the horns of rhinoceroses. There are about 1,000 rhinoceroses in Kenya. The World Wildlife Fund is actually providing more than $15,000 worth of chips and scanners. Now, Kenya has seen a gold rush in poaching in the last few years, and authorities hope that these chips will help track poachers, but also combat organized crime.
All right, and finally, sometimes you just find crazy things in your news. The tiniest town in the U.S. has been sold.
That's right. I'd never heard of this town before, but it's called Buford, Wyoming. It's a sleepy little town that's known for its sign that says population 1, and it has a single resident with his own zip code. Now, this town is actually 147 years old, and it's been
That's
bought.
him? That's the resident?
This is the guy who bought it.
He's the one. Oh,
he's
no,
the
he's
one.
the buyer.
He's the buyer.
Okay.
He's a Vietnamese entrepreneur named Pham Dinh Nguyen, and he beat bidders from 46 countries in an auction to buy this town. Now, it's conveniently located right near Yellowstone National Park. It's 10 acres. It has 5 buildings, including a convenience store and a gas station, so great little place. And he's renamed it PhinDeli Buford, and his plan is to make coffee. That's what he wants to do with this town, is make a coffee brand called a PhinDeli coffee that he'll sell from Buford, and he plans to take on the U.S. market and then the world. So best of luck to him.
Do we have just any idea how there can be only one person in a town? Do we have any idea what the story doesn't say?
The story doesn't say.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Florence Villino with the review of the international press. Thanks a lot. All right, and we're back in just a few moments after this short break with a full review of the international news.